Okay, audio's rolling, but video is not.
Doggies. Here, talk.
Yo, what's going
Yeah,
on?
he's not that loud.
It's okay.
But
no, that sounds.
It's because no, not balanced. He's just not loud.
Yeah.
No.
it's good.
Like I'm standing here and you're louder than me.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'll just puff up. a
No,
little bit.
you just have to talk right.
right into the
Yeah.
fucking mic.
Yeah.
You motherfucking amateur.
Okay, go. Yeah. What up, doggies?
What's happening?
This is Pat Ridge.
JD Roo.
Well, we have me and Wickham have a guest today.
What up?
This is the Ridge podcast where we talk about art, music, culture, and we have Jesse, JD, my longtime old friend, who we just started a recovery podcast, and we just did our first episode of that, and he just stayed, and he's going to be a guest today. I'm more of a LaCroix boy these days. You know?
Yeah, I love LaCroix.
Bro.
People shit on it on the internet, though. People fucking shit on LaCroix.
But what about this, though? I think this is the only soda that's made it. That's a healthy soda.
Yeah, it's incredible.
They've done it right.
Well, there's a lot of carbonation. It's almost...
It fills your belly if you're on a diet.
If you just pretend like you're a beast and you just chug it and you just picture that you're Joe Rogan, and if you're eating a bunch of food and you just chug it, it's really good. But they're not... They
got to be icy cold.
I don't like that zero sugar taste either.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's like that substitute they put in there.
But I feel like the Hanson's one, have you had the Diet Hanson's?
Yeah.
It's just not, I don't know. It's the Zevia.
This is the best of those.
It's the best of the
Okay.
healthy sodas on the planet
Yeah.
as of now.
Yeah.
Until somebody else comes to the table with something.
Sparkling water is a good soda substitute for me. Can't go
Yeah,
wrong
I've been
with
doing that a lot.
So the first person that we send this to is LaCroix.
it. Yeah.
We send this podcast
They
to
should
LaCroix.
sponsor us.
Yeah. What were you just talking about? Mickey and Minnie and...
Oh, we were just talking about how like certain music, like after it's a certain years old, you can use it, like so you don't get copyrighted. Like if you're
like
playing
Beethoven.
Yeah, if you do,
because
like,
Any form of art.
Because our last podcast got hit because of the Drake shit we put on it.
Yeah.
art is publicly owned after a certain threshold of years.
Public domain. That's not the creator. That's what it's called. And I was telling them how Disney, Mickey Mouse was about to be into the public domain, and they're about to lose Mickey Mouse.
That's so crazy.
They got Congress to pass legislators that would make it. That would make the 50 years that it would take before it became the public domain.
Right.
Like in the 50 years you make it, it's yours for 50 years. And then it's public. They made it like longer. And they're pushing it and they're pushing it and they're pushing it. Because like if they lose Mickey Mouse, like...
They kind of lose the years.
Yeah.
Damn, yeah.
It's crazy.
Well, we were talking about how sometimes you see all these movies and these guys are trying to use cool music and maybe they don't have the money to pay for newer music.
It's expensive.
Right? And then you just kind of go to Beethoven or Mozart or the Ninth Symphony of Beethoven and you just hear that over and it's like trying to be cool, but it's like, all right, I've heard
You say that, but like that, like I'm thinking of I'm writing my next short film right now, and I was worried about music, and I'm like, fuck, I want to use some Beethoven now.
Dude,
because now it's not.
There's a plethora.
I'm not gonna get in trouble for using Beethoven.
Yeah, but also that's kind of like the illest shit you could use.
Yeah, for sure.
That's the crazy part. It's the highest
like
level.
cinematic.
But I have a problem with like the stuff that like is like the marketing of that, right? Like the stuff that like there's certain symphonies in Beethoven that are actually like people don't hear. You don't hear because you haven't, everybody hears the ninth or the fourth.
Oh, like they should delve deeper.
Yeah, they should dig.
Well,
that's what I would recommend.
Like,
dive deep in
I would go into like Chopin. Like, I feel like he's
Chopin,
like no one ever uses Chopin.
He's great. He's
Bro,
fantastic.
dude, each of those dudes have hundreds.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. But I feel like the media, or not media, but like movies and movie makers will use the same.
They stick to the cliche.
Yeah, Get in there.
They
deep,
burn it out.
Like
the Moonlight Sonata. That's like
yeah, and you hear that.
It's like in
how many movies?
movie.
I actually learned how to play that.
Yeah, me too.
I can play on piano.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Dude,
the best use of it was in Battlestar Galactica. When I was watching that show and they played Moonlight Sonata, I was like, this is amazing. You could use it well. You just gotta,
Yeah,
use
but
it
there's
right.
so much more to these guys. Like, I don't know.
There is. There's a huge... library
All
of
right,
shit.
Here's a little quiz for you guys. What movie was the entry of the gods into Valhalla?
That's fucking
Yeah.
the Vietnam one.
No. I'm just now watching it, and it's fuck. Who is it? Well, it's
I thought Apocalypse Now.
no, the
'Cause
entry
they
of the
have
gods. It's in
Dun,
the
dun,
new.
dun,
It's
dun,
no,
dun,
that's
no,
not it. It's the new Covenant. The alien. He's playing it, and he goes, "What?" He goes, "Wise selection."
Yeah,
And he says.
Okay.
Yeah, he goes, it's a little bit anemic without the orchestra.
yeah.
Because he's just playing. It's sick as fuck, though.
That was a great
Yeah.
scene. That was the best
That
scene in
was-
the
yeah,
movie for
yeah,
me.
Yeah.
God.
It really was.
really
So
was.
Michael Fassbender's playing it.
Right.
It's just ironic, too, because it's the entry of the gods into
Right.
Valhalla, which is,
Right.
I asked Danny, who we're going to have on this podcast next, hopefully, if he'll bless us with his presence. I asked him, what is Valhalla? Like, do you guys even know what that is?
It's the Viking heaven.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a place in heaven.
Crazy
Witness
that you
Me
knew that.
from fucking the new fucking crazy movie with Tom Hardy. What
Venom?
No, the one that was out like last year. The one where it's like a crazy apocalypto world and he's
Mad Max.
Right,
Yeah.
the Mad Max.
Yeah.
They're all like going, witness
Valhalla.
me.
Yeah. Yeah. So
That's an old school thing.
It's a special
Yeah.
place in heaven for Vikings, but
Where they fight and fuck and then they die. And
But
they
like-
do that over and over again.
from
what I've learned.
For me, I feel like the choice to use that title, it was more about the title of the song than the song itself. Because Prometheus and the Alien trilogy, it's a lot about like who created who. And
Yeah.
are we gods because we created artificial intelligence? And the mechanics are our gods because they created us, or the engineers.
Yeah.
The engineers are like the illest of the ill.
And,
But who
they,
created them,
they hate humans,
Well-
which is also crazy.
Well, it's like we kind of went the wrong way.
We, like, pissed them
Yeah,
off
we
and-
like we got too greedy or some shit.
Well,
and
they
then
hate-
it was kind of like Adam and Eve in a way, like
Right.
parallel.
It's
Like
the
they
same
created
thing.
us and we did something wrong. along
Right.
the way.
Well, they hate humans in the same way that we hate
ants.
Blade Runners or synths, right?
Oh, okay.
Like, so that's
Yeah,
the dope thing about Ridley Scott is like
Yeah.
in the first Alien, that Bilbo Baggins
Yeah,
character,
yeah.
he's like bad.
Yeah, he's Michael Fassbender.
So we created this fucking artificial intelligence, and it's like kind of turning against us a little bit.
Right.
But humans aren't turning against the engineers, but like we're turning against each other.
But
Yeah,
here's a question in the middle of that. If we create something like Michael Fassbender in that movie, right? We almost create consciousness, right?
Yeah.
Like we are, or we believe it is. Are we responsible if that thing's suffering? That's a huge question. Like if we
I think
create,
so. Yeah,
right?
we are.
Like if
Definitely
we make
responsible,
artificial,
yeah.
like if this computer is artificial intelligence, right?
Yeah.
Or we make a robot that's a copy of Wickham, but it thinks it's Wickham number 2.
my God.
Are we like responsible if that thing starts suffering?
I think so. Yeah, I think
mean-
it's 50-50. Like if you look at like humanity,
Right.
and you're like, is our suffering because of God or is it our fault?
Right.
I would say it's like 50-50. And I'd say it's 50-50. It's our fault because we create our own suffering, and 50-50 it's God because he created us, put us here, gave us no instructions, and just threw us on a
Right.
piece of rock flying
Yeah,
in
but
space.
you can't.
But you have to take responsibility. Is kind of my.
Well,
Yeah, I'd say
think
so.
you do.
yeah, but of course, but we haven't created anything that has the capacity to feel.
But we did
Yeah.
created canines. I mean, they were wolves running around.
Yeah, we bred them
and we
into
bred
these.
them and we bred temper. I mean, look at your pup. That didn't exist. There weren't like many wolves.
Wow.
A lot of
That's
inbreeding too.
Yeah,
there's a lot
right?
of inbreeding.
And we're
that's
responsible for it.
genetically.
We
like,
have to be responsible
Really
for it.
bad for them,
We
actually.
have a kill shelter right down the street. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's actually.
Kinda-
It's fucked up.
I take that back, and that's why there's dudes that dedicate their whole life to saving dogs.
Yeah.
Like Steve actually follows a bunch of dudes on Instagram that like are just that thing makes a really weird crackling sound when you do it in the mic, and it sounds like
my
there's
vape, guys. I'm
something.
sorry.
It sounds like something's wrong.
Every time I hit it, I see you twitch a little
'Cause it
bit.
feels-
Like hear something in
because
your soul.
but it sounds like a cable's.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound good. It sounds like
but back to Prometheus. You're talking about Prometheus. There's that one scene where Michael Fassbender, the synthetic, is on with the captain of the ship.
Right.
And he's like, what are we exactly searching for? And the captain's like, oh, we're searching for the people who created us, right? And he's like, so do you think that'll be a good conversation? He's like, yeah, I mean, we got to find out. And then he's like, well, why did you make me a synthetic, right? And the captain was like, because we could. And he was like, what if your creator said the same thing? And I was just like, oh my God. That's a scary, dark, like, possibility.
Great writing.
Yeah, totally.
Just like the best topic that you could possibly write about.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Well, it's the most important thing you could ever talk
and
about.
like the best thing to make a movie on. Like,
Yeah.
But it
I
was
agree.
taken from a book. This thing keeps fucking flickering, and it's really fucking annoying me. It was taken from that book. Who wrote that book, by the way?
It was taken from a book?
Do androids dream of electric sheep?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I remember hearing. about
Wait,
that.
no. I'm sorry. I'm mixing the worlds, which is one thing I want to get to. So that's what Blade Runner came from.
Oh, okay.
But Blade Runner deals with the same concepts, both created by Ridley Scott,
On Earth.
both in the same world. Boom.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
No, I don't know if he fully understands.
No, I know.
So it's supposed to be
in
like
the
a whole
same
universe.
In the same
Oh,
The
it's
Ridley
a
Scott
shared
universe.
universe.
It's a
yes,
shared universe.
said
in the
that?
same way
Yeah.
Marvel created
Kind
a
of,
universe.
yeah, like with the-
Ridley Scott has a universe where Blade Runner
not know
exists
that.
hundreds of years before the first Alien
Right.
movie.
Wow.
And Prometheus, and he's trying to.
He's trying to do like a Star Wars thing, right? Like it's
Yeah,
just
like
this
Marvel.
huge fucking universe. Wayland Industries is behind all this shit.
He said
And
that? He said this?
I'm pretty sure he did.
Wow.
Well, because I remember watching some kind of interview about it, and he was just kind of pushing. You know that Wayland website that he has?
Yeah.
And he was pushing that, and he basically wants to compete. His life work with like the kind of Star Warsy kind of shit, right? Like
Yeah.
Prometheus and stuff is a push to take out like to be this all-encompassing universe.
That's amazing.
It really does make sense
Yeah.
because if you look at the Blade Runner movies, those AIs and our technology at that time, which is 2017, which actually already came,
Yeah.
it's like it feels like less evolved than the Alien movie, which is 2000, which is actually
29?
which is actually the end, which is actually I think 2000, like one
Yeah, like
2170.
They haven't got all the quirks out yet, and then in Alien they perfect them finally.
Well, Alien's actually after Prometheus, so it would be correct to say that it goes
is pretty
Blade
cool.
Runner, Prometheus, Covenant,
Then
Alien
Alien.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
And then somewhere in there is Blade Runner 2049, which is actually right after the first Blade Runner. So it goes Blade Runner 2017, Blade Runner 2049 with Ryan Gosling, and then
Alien.
then Prometheus,
Then Covenant, then
then
the whole
Alien.
Alien trilogy.
So it's a whole thing,
Yeah.
all dealing with
That's
the
great.
same concept, which is us giving something feeling.
Yeah, artificial.
And are we
intelligence,
responsible
yeah.
for that?
Yeah.
And then them wanting to live forever.
Yeah.
Finding your creator,
Right.
wanting to survive, the need for survival.
Right.
And the alien is just it's sort of like a byproduct of that. It's like they want to extinguish us because we fucked up. But it's not really
They're like a weapon. They're like a
Yeah.
biochemical weapon
Yeah.
that's
But-
sent to destroy the human
Right.
race because we fucked up. We're
Oh,
like
you
a
know
failed
what's
experiment.
crazy though? It's not a weapon till it hits us.
Well,
What do you mean?
Oh,
but it's designed to
but-
just. It's
no,
like,
I'm
it's
just
like a
playing with the
parasite.
idea
Yeah,
of
yeah.
like maybe if you're good, it won't turn into that bad alien.
I think it has nothing. I think it's just.
Yeah, I think if
biology.
they send it to you, you're
if it gets
fucked.
in blood, you're
Right,
fucked.
because you remember it's in the black stuff and it kills the dude. It goes into his fucking
Yeah, and he like falls apart. And his, but
It was like a different mutated
but
version.
That's different though. I think that in Prometheus is supposed to show the creation of a world. So this engineer goes there at the beginning of Prometheus and he
Yeah.
swallows that shit. It's
No,
not
that's not what I was referring to.
Oh,
but
yeah,
continue.
you know what I mean? Like he swallows that juice shit, right? The
Yeah.
bubbly stuff, right? And then his DNA gets split apart, and then his DNA like kind of impregnates.
That's how
the
the engineers
started Earth.
created humanity.
Humanity, right?
Which basically,
That's why we look so much like him.
yeah, but it took millions of years of evolution for us to get to human
Right.
form, and that was a part of their plan.
So this was which
the
was this in
first
Prometheus?
scene.
This is the first scene in Prometheus where there's that big fucking.
It's incredible.
guy.
So
It's
he turns into
fucking-
something that's not an alien.
He turns into he
Like a
donates
hybrid.
he donates his DNA to make this.
So
Earth.
where was he?
No, hold up.
Who made him?
Hold up.
He's the engineer.
Oh, so it's an engineer.
he was an engineer.
So we're pretty much engineer alien hybrids.
Yeah,
No, no,
because
no,
remember
no,
they
no.
say that.
No.
Yeah.
Slow down. It's real simple. The engineer drank a little black liquid from a pod,
Right.
and he turned into us. That was how they made humans
Over time.
Okay.
over millions of years of evolution.
Right.
Okay.
And you see him
Break
fall
apart.
apart
Right.
into the water, and his
DNA splits and
DNA
comes back together. In
turns
different
into
forms. Yeah,
us.
Yeah.
So
Or
that's
fish,
like how
or
high
whatever.
level they are biologically and organically. They're like that's how they created us.
So why did they create us?
Because they could. I don't know.
'cause they could.
But that's not really-
Yeah.
But that's not really. We don't really know, and that's what makes Prometheus so amazing.
And we
For
don't
me,
know. But we
it's
don't
the
know.
magic box. It's the mystery box.
Which I liked. That's the reason I
Abrams.
liked Prometheus more
Yeah.
than Covenant is because
Oh,
Prometheus didn't do well with people who wanted to see an alien like slasher film. Like they didn't want the philosophical shit. So in Covenant, in the beginning, the first scene, they like kind of touched on it, and then it just became a horror movie because audiences didn't want that. They didn't
But-
want the meaning
Yeah,
of life.
there was a lot of
I was
critiques
so
against that.
disappointed.
Yeah,
I'm
me
just
too.
like,
Yeah.
fuck audiences. Dude.
Well, I don't necessarily know or think that Ridley Scott would do anything for the audience. I don't know.
more about
No, he's the
slasher.
one who said that.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah.
So you're, yeah.
The studio said it didn't
They
perform
wanted.
well.
They wanted a thrasher.
They wanted, yeah,
like
and then I
old
was
school
really
Alien.
excited for Covenant to be like,
Right.
wow, the answers are
Right.
going to answer Prometheus, but then they like didn't.
No, they didn't.
That's really frustrating.
But also,
It
that
is.
was probably on purpose too, though.
because Prometheus is a fucking masterpiece.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
amazing.
And I think that a lot of times great movies age well over time, like wine. Like at first people don't understand them.
Right.
But then they become cult classics. And come on,
Yeah.
Ridley.
It's ahead of its
Like
time.
you should know that.
Yeah.
So the mechanic, why do I keep calling them mechanics? The
Engineers, it's the
engineers
same thing.
created us. They're patient. They were willing to wait millions of years.
Well,
but then they
Time's
saw,
probably not a concept to them as
yeah, it's a
it is for
whole.
us. Right,
that's what
right.
I fucking love about it.
Yeah.
And then they sent Jesus down to try to save us.
Yeah, he was the engineer.
He was
yeah.
an engineer.
And we killed him.
Yeah,
We crucified him.
We crucified him. So then they're like, all right, fuck this fucking race. So we're gonna create.
These guys.
Let's make this
cocksuckers.
weapon
Yeah.
over here on this planet. We're gonna make this weapon over here, just because it's gonna be crazy. And if it fucking gets out of hand, like we don't want to kill ourselves. So we're gonna make this weapon over here on this random planet. And then some shit went down. I don't know what happened necessarily, but they fucked up.
And it got gnarly.
And then we discovered the weapon.
Dude, your intentions theory, though, about that liquid, because we don't know in Prometheus when the guy's going to create humanity, when he drinks that stuff, we don't know if that's like a different alien juice, right, to take him apart. And maybe because he was a good alien or a good engineer, right, humanity sprung from it. But if you go out with bad intentions and you drink that juice, you turn into this alien fucker that jumps out of people's stomachs.
It's crazy.
So the intention theory that you're kind of pinning on, it's still alive in that.
Yeah, but here's my question. That's like major speculation, and that's just what makes but that's just what makes but that's what makes it incredible. That's what makes the film
Those are
so
one of the
incredible.
questions they should have answered. They were probably supposed to answer in Covenant.
Also,
There's
Noah.
a lot of loose ends that they made.
Did they weaponize this juice that you drink to like create more? Did they make it like an evil alien juice? Because it looks the same, and it does.
What do you mean?
Yeah, I
when
think
the
the
engineer
juice
drinks
is-
that stuff and falls into the waterfall, right, and he splits apart, and humanity's created from that. It looks like it's the same.
What he
weaponized-
drank.
Right, what he drank looked like the same weaponized stuff.
Also, Jesse, you got to talk in your mic.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. You could do this.
I'm getting
you know?
excited.
Okay, so that is like, those are just theories, which is what makes it incredible. But my question is, why were those inscriptions on the wall? Why was that? Why were those?
You were talking to me about that.
Because Noah, that was a really great thing Noah pointed out to me. There's
Right, and they're all
inscriptions
over the
on
world,
caves that
right.
are they're basically a map to get to the destination of the weapon, which is how we got there. Why were those inscriptions there?
Yeah, I mean, maybe that alien stuff that infects you, right, wasn't originally designed to be evil, and they just misstepped.
No, I think
You
making
know?
the aliens like a killer race was intentional.
Yeah,
It was 100%.
It's a weapon.
It's a weapon, yeah.
But like when that, at the end of Prometheus, when that alien thing, like that squid thing that she gets in the pregnancy machine, and then the engineer's chasing her down to like kill her, it looks like, and he kind of looks at it as it grabs him and kills him, but he's like fascinated by it. Like he almost is like in an awe. I mean, I don't know if that's what I noticed in the film at the end of Prometheus.
In Covenant, something Michael Fassbender is like a huge part of why they become the aliens, right? Like he's on the ship with the last remains of the human race, right? And he has the entire human race in like little fetuses, right? And he infects the entire human race.
Yeah.
Wait. It's not the human race.
Then what?
It's the engineer race.
No.
No.
In Covenant, he's on the ship Prometheus.
Right.
Had like the last, like the Earth was dying, and they had the last remnants of the human race.
The Earth was dying.
Some shit like that, if I'm not mistaken. But regardless, what I know for sure is he had a bunch of fucking humans in little fetuses, right? And he chose to infect them with the aliens, and he from all the entire collection of humans, they became aliens.
Yeah, he's like using us like that's like his petri dish that he's just like playing with now. He can like make
but I
different
forgot
things.
where like was
But
it
I don't
the
think
last
it's all the
humans?
I don't think it's all.
Yeah,
the
I don't know
humans.
if it
It's
was
just
all
the humans that
No,
go
it was
on
just-
on this envoy. You know,
It was
like,
just a
into
colony.
space.
It was the colony.
It was the colony. That's what it was. Yeah.
Right.
And that was like the first time all
I'm
the
like
aliens
watching.
came
I
out.
literally started it today.
Yeah, I'm gonna go watch Prometheus tonight, dude. Talking about this.
Yeah. Well, I just started Covenant again.
The last
today.
time I watched Prometheus, I was super high, which was a terrible idea.
Wow, yeah.
Because when they were talking about the God shit, I was just like, no, like it like ruined my day.
What do you mean? Why?
Because when I was high, like, like the philosophical thought is like exaggerated, right? And you go into places, you go so much deeper into things than you would do when you're sober. So when he said like, why would your creators make you, like if they made it, so he was saying humans were made for like no reason. And
Right.
that like nihilism just fucking fucked me up while I was high.
Yeah, that's
You know what I'm
that's some
saying?
dark shit.
Yeah,
because
that
you
was-
can go there. Well, you can go there in sobriety too.
Yeah, you can.
I mean, real dark.
Yeah,
Like, life
yeah.
is meaningless. and-
Yeah, and that's what it touches on.
Yeah.
which is crazy.
Yeah, it's like not. But you know what? The one thing that stands out is when she's talking to her father in the dream, and he's like, it's what I choose to believe. Remember, she says that in Prometheus too. At the end, she's like, it's because what I choose to believe, like the cross that she wears.
It's been a while since I've
Remember
seen
that?
Yeah.
She goes back to that, and she goes,
Because religion for them is not.
it's not the truth.
Well, nobody in that time is like has faith. Because you remember the captain dude was like, I'm a man of faith. That's why I was never captain. the dude that was in Big Fish.
Right.
Like faith isn't really a thing in that time.
What was crazy too about Prometheus is like they were building up like the old dude that was like dying.
Yeah.
And he like
Yeah.
finally
Guy Pearce.
he
Yeah.
wanted
I'm talking
to meet
about Covenant, by the
he
way.
wanted to meet the engineers, right?
Right.
And he like they release one from one of their like holding capsules, and the engineer just comes and beats the shit out
and
of
he just
all of
smashes
them.
them.
I was like, what the fuck?
Right.
He just
And
is like, what
he doesn't
the
even like
fuck?
talk to them.
He's like not even.
you're trash. Like he just.
But he looks
Yeah.
at he respects Michael Fassbender. Though.
No, he doesn't.
No, but he looks at him and he's like, "Oh, that's like cool, but I'm still gonna smash you."
No. This was the take that because Steve read about this shit on Reddit. Steve was like obsessed with this whole shit, and he explained to me the whole Jesus thing, and Reddit like broke it all down. We should actually be referencing the Reddit thing on this, but he looks at Fassbender, and he's like, "Fool, I created humans, and then they created you. You're not even." Don't even address me. Like he just grabs him by the neck right away and says, "Get the fuck out of my face. Don't even try to talk."
But
to
you
me,
really
fool."
think that's it? Because he
Because-
kind of looks at him.
Well,
like he's like he could be the correct version of humans or something.
Right,
Like he kind of
because
like he's like, what is that? I feel like he kind of looked at
he
it.
can't die.
I-
He's immortal, right?
Yeah.
Like he's got all these qualities that.
and he can actually speak the language.
right.
And
He's smarter than humans.
and he is, and he's like logical, and
There's
he's
something
not,
more. There's something deeper in that.
I mean, but
in that scene.
he definitely like threw him aside.
Oh
and was
no!
like, fuck you.
He wreaks havoc on everybody. But I felt that there was a moment where it's like he kind of was like he threw a nod to humanity, like, oh, okay, humans. You know, 1 point for you guys. I don't know. You know,
Yeah, it's just incredible. Just the fact that you can just continue to talk about it.
yeah. Well, it's deep.
It's
deep
so
inside.
it's like so much deeper and like more. It's like Star Wars is amazing, but
Star Wars is my favorite though.
But I almost like feel like this in some ways is like
It's darker.
it's darker and almost even more like
it's more
deep.
philosophical.
It's like
for sure.
super high. It's like
What other movie talks about the creator? You
it's
know
a
what I mean?
high
On
level.
that level.
It's more
Yeah.
realistic to like us than Star Wars.
yeah.
And there's just more meaning, you know. Star Wars is not. They're not even trying to do that.
No. That's not true. Because Star Wars has a lot of meaning. Like the darkness.
Oh
the
yeah,
light.
but they're definitely not trying to talk about God.
No, they
I
are.
Think I think Star because you know there's references in Star Wars to the old ones, the first three, where you know
The
Darth
Force.
Darth Vader comes in. And remember, he does the first choke on one of those admirals,
Yeah.
and he's like, "Yeah, we don't." One of the admirals pops off to him and is like, "We don't follow that.
Your dying faith.
Your dying religion.
Yeah, dying
He says
religion, yeah,
religion.
Well, you know, the Force.
Yeah.
I attribute the Force to it's actually the closest. It's actually the closest thing I can relate to my God. I use it in every time I share, pretty much, because the Force is like it's slower. The results aren't as quick, but it's more powerful.
Right.
And the dark side is easy. It's cool. It's
And it's
cool to
powerful.
be dark, and it's powerful and rewarding.
Right,
if you're driven by ego and self-will, and you're like fuck everyone, and you're like going and stepping on, and
Yeah.
also darkness, like 666, like G.G. Allen and fucking Marilyn Manson and like Charles Manson, like those things are cool. But what's actually really cool is like Gandhi, Mr. Rogers, Martin Luther King Jr., Jerry Garcia, like those dudes are like the coolest
Yeah.
because they were actually good for humanity.
Yeah. Plato, Aristotle.
And that's what we
you
were
know?
talking. Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
we were. Me and my sponsor were talking about that today. About like making
Roomy.
about making
Yeah.
shirts.
Yeah.
And like a brand revolving around that. Let's just cut it right there.
Yeah, I was looking at the time.
How long was that?
28 minutes.
28. Okay. I mean, we're gonna have to continue right where we left off.
Just keep going.
Well, I want to have video. What do you mean just keep going?
There you go. The video would just like flickered one black frame and you just kept going. But
But you'd have audio without video.
Yeah.
That's not good.
True.
Yeah, so why we were talking about creating a brand that was like positive, that was like, but like done in a cool way. Like, are you good? And then like a picture of like Mr. Rogers. Like, rather than all this like FTP and like fucked and like Supreme and like all these like cool like meaningless brands, like what if you actually had like a positive message that was good for humanity?
I don't know.
Like Tom's.
I don't know.
Tom's is a
Yeah, but it's Tom's.
but still.
What if the name of your company was like Seek Truth
Yeah.
or something?
Tom's is actually really bad for the shoes. You know, like
Here we
No,
go.
but I'm just saying like they're
it's like, you know, the kids that they give the shoes to,
right.
they actually have like a stockpile of extra shoes that they don't need, and shoes are the last thing that they need.
That's
what
freaking
they really
hilarious.
need is like educational infrastructure and like all these
Yeah,
other,
yeah.
and it's
Food-
kind of like this
food,
like
water.
this
Yeah,
like
yeah.
this kind of like white simple-mindedness.
Right,
Like these
right.
kids in Africa don't have shoes, and like they're
Right.
like, oh, we have shoes, we just need MacBooks for like our classes.
Right.
And they just have all these shoes, and
But the
and then
con-
like
the
white
concept,
people over here like
yeah.
buying the shoes thinking they're doing something
Right,
great,
right,
but it's
right.
actually to like ignorant as fuck.
Wow. Yeah, no, I agree with that. But the intention
Yeah.
Yeah, the
was-
intentions. Yeah,
They wanted it to be like that, and then you know, let the cards fall where they may. I mean, people are.
But
the intention was good, but like they should have done their research. You know what I mean?
I always thought it was a marketing grab. You know what I mean? 'Cause
Yeah,
that's like
probably
that's a easy. You know, you
Yeah.
say, oh, you buy my.
But
glasses.
listen, my point is that the Force is like God in real life, put in like metaphorical Star Wars terms, and the dark side is like the devil or Satan, if you will, but not really. Like, it's just like not God. You know, it's like ego, selfishness, self-centeredness, power, greed, and like the Force is like humility and like thoughtfulness.
So, sometimes, like I think I worry about that brand because like I just feel like being good isn't cool.
That's what I'm trying to
like,
say, though. Is if you could make it cool.
Kanye was talking about that in like his first album, where he's just like you guys could talk about drugs, guns, like side bitches, cheat, everything, but as soon as he talks about Jesus on a song, they don't want to play it on the radio. You know,
Well, that's what's so great about
or like
2018.
or even like the TMZ thing when he was talking about like love and like love the alt right, and they should love the left and we should love Trump, figure shit out.
Right.
He was like, I can't say that, but if I was talking about shooting up like I was in a drive-by and I killed some fools, that's okay.
Yeah,
And it's crazy.
Yeah, but it's so great that we live in 2018 because there is no radio anymore. And people are going to gravitate towards what they want to gravitate towards.
Which is still the bad. Like, have you
Is
ever
that
been?
gonna hold on? Is that gonna dictate what I do? I don't give a fuck if anyone wears the fucking shirts. I don't care if anyone listens to this shit. I'm gonna do what I think I should do.
Yeah.
Which is promote the ideas that I stand behind.
Totally.
So we should do that.
But my argument was just mine was actually
And
separate
things
from
going-
your brand.
and things-
it's just this weird anomaly of
Yeah, but
people
it's
liking
not-
the bad shit.
but it's not necessarily true.
But there is something there.
Yeah.
It's like,
it's
for
what-
sure.
weird.
But then
Well,
you
it's
got to
the
ask
dark
the question,
side.
what is good and what is bad?
Yeah.
Well, hold on. Before we get into all that philosophical shit, I just want to say this. Right now, it's like the Republic is winning. In Star Wars, it's like
Yeah.
No, the Republic's the good people.
No, the Rebel.
the Rebel Alliance is trying to get. We're like the rebels.
Oh, the rebels
trying to
winning.
take
Oh, okay,
back
okay, okay.
like the Grateful Dead and like in 1969 when it was like free love and peace and like the Beatles, and they were talking about good shit. I don't say goodbye. I say hello, hello, Sergeant Pepper's and love and like peace and equality, and like that shit was popping in 1969. Like love, like Jimi Hendrix and Bob Dylan, and like they were talking about like incredible things, and it was just a different. And like
Yeah, what happened?
what happened is like that's why I love Star Wars so much, is because they're putting real life into like right now we're just in like dark times. And Jordan Peterson talks about that too. And like everything goes in cycles. So we could be at the forefront with Joe Rogan, Sam Harris, and Jordan Peterson.
Right.
We could be a part of that movement talking about good shit.
Yeah.
And creating a dope brand. Joe Rogan can't create a dope brand. He doesn't know what's dope. He just doesn't. His logo's whack. His comedy's not even that funny. It's not. His fucking podcast is amazing. No, I'm serious.
Destruction of Joe Rogan.
He's amazing. He's literally my favorite person.
Yeah.
But like I was listening to Gary Vee today. It's like no one's good at everything,
Yeah.
right? Like I know about design a little bit. I know like what looks dope. I mean, look at how fresh I'm dressed. Like I know what's dope. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he doesn't. That's okay. So we could be in a unique position to like design something cool that also is good.
Yeah, I think you should
That
do it.
speaks to. I mean, I just started talking about this today, right? So we need to brainstorm on it, Wickham. But like, the concept is like, are you good? Like, have you done like something good today?
Right.
And then you have a picture of like Martin Luther King or like.
I think it should be more than that.
Yeah, no, and it's gonna be.
I feel like a lot of
it's
people,
gonna be.
they
So
do one
what's
good thing and then, you know what I mean?
no?
I think
I-
it should be like, I liked Are You Good better than Have
Are
done
you
one
good?
Yeah, I like that.
But I mean,
And it would kind of work as a double entendre because it'd be like, you good? But it'd also be like, are you good?
yeah,
which is
that's
kinda
kinda
dope.
cool. Are you like you good?
Yeah, it's just you good.
And
dude.
then like
good.
you have a picture of Mr. Rogers.
Yeah.
With like the dope ass font underneath it, like
Yeah.
will you be my neighbor? And then like on the front or on the back it could say like stop trying to be cool or something.
Mm-hmm.
Or like
Well, that's whack. Stop trying to be cool.
or like
being a bad person.
I don't know, like
Being a bad person is
we're just in the very beginning.
Yeah,
we're in
yeah,
the
yeah.
infantile stages of trying to make a brand that's good for humanity.
Yeah.
And Billy, like literally the coolest, dopest dude ever. He doesn't even know how cool he is. But he comes into my house, we're doing step work, and the guy is just, he's just the best guy.
Yeah,
He's
he
the
is a
most
cool guy.
non-threatening.
You met him, right? Have you met him?
Yeah, he's super chill.
He's just the chillest, most
Yeah.
non-threatening guy. And he's like, yo, I was thinking about that line in the St. Francis prayer. We should seek to understand rather than to be understood. And how that should be like a
Yeah.
slogan for a brand. You know? And we
That's
talk a lot.
Great idea.
You know, we
I
talk
like that a lot.
Yeah, like we
I
talk
love the St. Francis prayer. That shit's amazing.
But that specific line right
Yeah.
there is like what we talk about here a lot. A lot of the shit we talk about like goes back to that. You know what I'm saying? That kind of idea. Like if I would have brought that concept into the past couple weeks, I wouldn't have went off on like Seth. I wouldn't have had a fight with Mike. Like I wouldn't have been in as much pain. I've been in a little bit of pain over some of the shit I did because I wasn't like really trying to understand. I want to be understood. I want you to understand that I put you on. I want you to understand how much I did, how much it's like, stop trying to be understood all the time. Because through trying to understand, you get understood.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah, and I think people fall into like this like pit of like I want to be understood. I want to be understood.
I wanna be
like,
validated.
Or
It
like
changes,
Or
yeah.
like Bill C. Like he talks about. I was like everyone's always talking about finding themselves. What the fuck does that even mean? Just help someone else.
Yo, who said that?
Yeah,
Bill
you-
C.
but
the
you
guy at
hear-
my
yeah,
meeting.
yeah.
And I'm just
Yeah,
like,
that's a
yeah,
great-
like
that's a
no
great
one.
concept.
What the fuck
Oh,
does
wait.
that even mean?
Right.
Right. Like everyone in LA is like finding themselves.
Yeah.
Right. And it's
Yeah.
kind of in the same vein of like. You want to be understood, but you don't want to understand anyone
Well, you're
else.
perfect just the way you are. You know, that
Yeah,
kind of
yeah,
ties into
that
that
too,
thing,
yeah.
right? Like, obviously, if you have like you're living in some kind of delusion or something, you're fucked up, right? And like, you just need to change your perspective.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what happens when guys get off of drugs, right? Nothing changes, but they just don't like their perception.
Yeah.
That's all. I mean, that's my experience.
Yeah.
That's your experience. That's your experience. Nothing changes but your perception. The world's still the world.
Yeah. Hopefully,
Right?
Yeah.
hopefully your perception changes, or else you're gonna have a real hard time staying sober.
Right. But that's,
Hold up, this Bill guy?
well, he's a circuit speaker.
You know who he's talking
He goes
about.
to my home group.
Yeah, he's a big timer.
And he said,
He's like a Clancy I.
I fucking
Yeah, he is.
Yeah,
dude.
he's like a
He's,
Clancy
he
guy.
sponsors like half the room and shit.
Yeah.
So I've actually officially gotten more out of this time sitting here talking about this than I've gotten out of like a meeting because I think that's incredible. Like, what are you trying to find?
Right.
Yeah.
There's nothing to find. Just be yourself.
You're already there.
Just remove
And
remove ego and all that shit
Right.
and help someone else and try to understand someone else.
Yeah, I think it's just
Yeah.
like it just points out this like selfish, self-centered journey. Like you finding yourself
Yeah.
is self-centered as fuck.
It really
right?
is.
It's not. First of
Right.
all, it's not real. It's a total waste of time. You're just gonna go deeper and deeper into yourself.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, you're helping no one else, and everyone else around you is just
Right.
And I think that
like they could be hurting, and you would never fucking know because you're finding yourself. You know?
Yeah.
and I think the best part about that is that it's applicable to like everyone, not just alcoholics.
Yeah, totally. I know so many people who are just they just drift along life finding themselves.
Or is
right?
it?
Yeah.
That's
Well,
actually a question to ask.
But you're kind of dancing on this idea of like we are becoming, not a self, right? Like there's not like some dude up in Wickham's head pulling all the controls.
Yeah.
So just
You know
let
what
me,
I mean? Like you're just moving, you're just movement, right? And you apply a principle like that instead of trying to understand yourself, which is impossible to do. Try to find yourself, which is impossible, right? 'Cause
Yeah.
you're not that, right? And you go to. Am I not talking? And,
Well, 'cause
you
it's
just go
tough.
help somebody else,
Yeah.
and then you get like some kind of clarity from that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And then you learn about yourself
Right,
by
right.
helping other people.
Right.
You know, and I learn a lot about myself by meeting new people.
Yeah, and I mean,
Yeah.
then you get into the shit like, what's a self? You know
so
what I
hold
mean?
on, before you go here,
Before we get
Well, I
into
studied a
that
lot of
fucking-
philosophy.
Dude, I
yeah,
love
yeah.
philosophy.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
trying to minor at my school, but they don't offer
Yeah,
it.
I just
So took it
graduated
every
in-
semester.
Dude, I graduated in May from Cal State Northridge.
That's
with philosophy.
amazing, dude.
It's fun, but
Yeah,
it's dark
my
though.
favorite.
But you
hold
got to
up,
be
hold
careful.
Up, hold
dude.
up, hold up. I just want to clarify. Jesse just finished. He majored in psychology.
Philosophy.
So that's why. So dude gravitates towards that type of shit.
I'm gonna walk away, dude, because that's so dope.
No,
That's
no.
amazing.
No, but
dude,
that's why
that
I-
you're on the podcast right now. I
Yeah.
have so much shit to talk to you about.
No, that's why I want to go.
Why didn't you tell me this
I'm
as soon
probably
as I
gonna
met
go for
you?
a PhD in it too.
That's fucking
I think
amazing,
It's worth it.
dude.
Which is
Well-
why I think it would be cool to expand on that a little bit. Like
Yeah,
you
yeah.
asked the question,
So
is there really good or evil?
Oh, yeah.
And I
So-
said before we go there,
Yeah.
So, like, my background in philosophy, I just want to let you know
Yeah, yeah.
before, like, I don't
Throw 'em
have a
out.
degree in it at
No,
all, right?
hey, degree
So the
doesn't
way
mean
I
shit.
found out I like kind of stumbled upon like my love for philosophy and like reading,
Right,
you know,
right.
the moral life and
Right,
like
right,
Kant
right,
and
right,
like the categorical imperative and
Oh,
like
yeah.
the universal law and everything.
Yeah.
Is that like I stumbled into this class with this old dude.
You were reading
Dr.
Kant?
Yeah.
Ah,
Dr.
it's dense
Zanka,
stuff.
right? And
Yeah.
he was the most amazing teacher I've ever had in my entire life. And
Right.
I just loved this dude. And I'd go to his office and I talked to him all the time. And I took
Right,
a
right.
class of him. And me and my girlfriend actually met in his class.
Yeah.
And now
You
we've been
told me
dating.
that story at Halloween. I remember that.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
okay.
yeah,
And
yeah.
then he like got cancer. He's still alive, but he had to retire and everything. But like I felt like this like emptiness because I couldn't take his class anymore.
Damn.
One of his classes, dude, was called Death and Dying. And the entire class was about death and dying. And I'll tell you this, dude, I've never like stopped during a lecture and looked around the class and seen everyone just like paying attention.
What the hell's going on
Even the
here?
kids that don't
Yeah.
give a fuck, like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
oh,
yeah.
I'm just listening
Yeah.
to rap. I don't give a shit. Like,
Right.
all of them, he was telling them, he was just telling them we're all gonna die,
Right.
and you better be okay with it because you can't change it. It's
Right.
and it's permanent,
Right.
And you can't reverse it.
Right, right,
And
right.
it was just
We're all in the pool
Wow.
together. Yeah.
So
yeah.
in the last
Yeah.
3 years, I just found this whole like part of like something to like apply my over analytical self into.
Yeah.
Which is great. That's why I lost it when you said you have a degree in philosophy.
Yeah, I mean, and I used to study a lot of that stuff with like Heidegger, even though people call him a Nazi.
Yeah.
He had a lot of philosophy about being in time and death and angst. So he kind of termed from
was
what
he
I've
the
studied.
Ubermensch guy?
No, that's Nietzsche.
Okay.
He's my favorite philosopher.
Are you fucking depressive fuck, dude? Jesus
No,
Christ,
dude, you're talking about a guy who's like, he's just honest about the world.
The week that we studied Nietzsche was the most depressing week of
Okay,
my life,
why?
dude.
Because
he's like an existentialist and like he's like,
well, he's not an existentialist.
no, he's a nihilist.
He's called an existentialist. No, he's not a nihilist either. No,
Really?
Yeah, if you study him deeper and you get down that Pandora's box, because it is a Pandora's box, because he's like a deep dude, and I would say that he believes that like the world should be like this aesthetic, like artists kind of loving each other kind of thing, and then there's these Ubermensch that kind of thrush us towards that. So an Ubermensch is like a Superman, right? Like we would identify like an Ubermensch, like you could even think of
It's
it as
literally
Ubermensch,
the
like
German
a Donald
word
Trump,
for
like
Superman.
yeah, like a Donald Trump or Hillary Clinton or any of these big
or like
time,
Elon Musk. I would
Elon
consider
Musk,
Ubermensch.
yeah, Ubermensch, right?
Maybe even like Joe Rogan or Jordan
Yeah,
Peterson.
Yeah,
right.
totally.
Right, and they push it to the limit. Like there's no limit for them, right? They break the barriers, and then all of humanity tries to fall into place.
Martin Luther King.
Yeah. He even called Jesus an Ubermensch, which a
So-
lot of people don't.
He's the ultimate
But
Ubermensch.
he would critique Jesus too a lot. Like that was his biggest. He's misread a lot because of his critiques of Christianity. He basically is just trying to say that we have this
In our
moral
Puritan fucking
right,
Western
we have,
society.
Yeah, we have like this moral fabric based in Christian principles, and we need to go beyond. He's got a book called, Going Beyond Good and Evil. He thinks that the concepts we have of good and evil are not working anymore. And we can, like kind of what we were saying.
That's
like,
amazing.
Right? Like they're just not working. And
No,
we
they're
need
not, because
we
we're
need to
not trying-
transcend them.
And I think
Yeah.
they served a purpose in
Yeah,
the early,
for sure.
like when Matthew and John were writing the Gospels, right? They weren't trying to be like, okay, you shouldn't fuck a lot of people because there's these things called STDs and they'll
No,
kill you,
right,
right?
right,
They don't give
right,
a fuck. They're just
right.
going to say, God says to have one partner
Right,
and that's it,
right,
right? But
right.
now we don't know about STDs. We have condoms. We have like all that
Right.
shit. So like it's different.
It
like,
is way
it's
different.
Everything's a gray area.
Right.
And like I think humans in the first time ever are evolved to a point where we can understand that and we're ready to handle that truth instead of just
Right.
being like, God
Right.
says don't
And
do that.
it's through these types of long form conversations
That you can get into stuff
that
like
where
this,
we
yeah.
can really get into shit like this, and
Yeah.
a lot of people can hear the conversation being had about trying to understand evil, quote unquote,
Yeah.
rather than trying to be understood. And it all ties back into that.
Yeah.
Like Jordan Peterson talks about these long form conversations being like a new evolved
Right.
version of humanity.
yeah,
We're definitely
it is, yeah.
smarter than what we thought.
Yeah.
Is what- I saw him speak at the Civics Art Plaza when he was here, right? I went there alone.
Yeah,
'Cause
I had tickets to see him in Long Beach, but I was working.
Yeah, so I went and saw him, and he opened his bid up with
He
just
saw Jordan Peterson
Yeah.
down the street at the Civic
Yeah.
Arts Plaza.
Yeah. His last
Thanks for the
tour in
invite.
America, right? And for a year or something like that. But, I kind of was skeptical. I thought, because there's a lot of bad.
Dude, there's
press about-
so
he's
much. They're
alt-right,
trying to
he's like
murder
this-
him,
He's
dude.
not, dude.
At
That
all?
guy is on.
He's a little bit, but not
no.
that
But he's a
much.
clinical psychologist, bro.
Yeah.
All he cares about is the experience and what is the experience like for you. You know what I mean? Like he's not like trying to promote an ideology. I mean, I never detected it. He's not trying to say like, oh, like you gotta be an alt-right guy or anything.
No,
like
he's
that.
saying that meaning comes through
responsibility. Right.
and that's what gives life meaning. And
Right.
and it's brought meaning to my life.
Yeah.
Like when I do something, like go on a run or this podcast, it gives me a sense of purpose and a sense of meaning. And if we can get behind that, then we're gonna keep doing it regardless of the results.
Yeah.
And if we're doing it for the right reasons, which is literally exactly what we're talking about right now, this is the right reason, then we'll be motivated to continue to do it and the rest will fall into place.
Right.
Yeah.
And I mean, I know I can see in your eyes your hesitations towards that because
Towards what?
Towards Jordan Peterson, because you said he's a little bit.
I love him, but
I
there's
think
no
you're
doubting he's a conservative.
Well, I don't know because he markets himself as a liberal, right? Like as a, what is he?
If you follow his like Twitter and like his Facebook and stuff, he posts some shit that like my dad would post.
Yeah.
He posted something about a Sharia police force in Western society.
Oh, really?
And I understand, but
like Sharia law. You mean? Oh yeah.
Yeah, like he has he's conservative, and that's fucking fine.
Yeah,
I'm fine. Like a radical moderate.
Right.
So I appreciate that, but
yeah, I'm more of like a libertarian myself.
But why are we putting all these labels?
You're right. But I think there's an underpinning with his argument, right, with Jordan Peterson, and this is my best attempt to see. Like, I think the concern goes with you've read existentialist philosophers, right, and there's this idea that essence precedes existence, right?
Yeah.
Or no. Existence precedes essence. Sorry, reverse that, right? So you exist before you have an essence, before you're a man or a woman, or you have these labels that you're talking about, right? Yeah. So you exist, and then essence is kind of thrown on you, right? And the problem with somebody like Jordan Peterson is that he's trying to say like you're an individual, take on this individual responsibility, and like you get meaning from life, right? But what about the people on the fringe that like can't do that, like the transgender or the, and that, I think that's where a lot of people find problems with him.
I think people even on the fringe can get, because all of us were on the fringe getting sober, right? That is almost as much as the fringe you can get, right? And I think and obviously like I read his book like An Antidote to Chaos, and like obviously that would get me sober, but it would fucking help. Get my life together, for sure.
But I feel like a lot of those slams against him, like there's trolls and there's all these people making up shit about him and stuff, and he definitely leans way more conservative than anything else. But I kind of see the fear that people have because a lot of the ideology that he's going against, which is like this neo-Marxist kind of thing, he talks about that a lot, right? Is coming from Jean-Paul Sartre. And and their root is that we are not these labels. We are not like gender doesn't like
anti-identity politics.
Right, exactly. But the thing is I got into philosophy because I wanted to see the arguments of both sides, right? And when these arguments are rooted down to something like existential philosophy, it's hard. I mean, if somebody really knows their shit, like, and you're debating them on like a policy of like, does a man, like, what's a man, what's a woman kind of thing, and like, does biology dictate if you're a man or a woman? All that stuff gets thrown out the window with existential philosophy. That's the problem with it, right? And the strength, right? It's a strength.
Yeah, because you can't throw away identity politics completely.
No,
that's fucked up.
Well, I used to balk at that. I used to balk at that, and then I took a bunch of philosophy courses, and it's not like they like changed my mind or anything. I saw the root arguments, the smart arguments, right? Like the existentialists, like Jean-Paul Sartre's like the first one. He's probably the best one, best example, right? And you see that and you go, oh, maybe these guys don't understand what they're arguing for. Yeah. But that's what they're arguing. They're arguing against social construction theory. Like they're saying that we're constructed by our social,
by society,
right? Like we're not, like, maybe if the society didn't exist the way it is, there wouldn't be like man and woman.
So what does this have to do with Jordan Peterson?
Well, I think because he's anti that. He thinks that that's like a...
he's anti-society.
Well, he's anti like the Marxist, neo-Marxist kind of thing. He thinks it's a disaster, and that it's going to screw society up.
Well, communism's failed.
Well, no. But you don't just think of it like, I don't if you've ever read Marx and Engels, right? Who's the Communist Manifesto and stuff. If you really dissect it, the guy's not trying to say everybody just gets shit for free and like that's it. Like he's trying to
the Soviet Union did it wrong.
Well, that's the argument you'll hear from a socialist or a communist, right?
They did it wrong.
Right, they did it wrong.
No one's done it right.
Right. I don't think it's possible. I actually agree with Jordan Peterson. I think it's kind of. I think
it is impossible.
Yeah, I think it is.
I think capitalism's the best thing. For
right. Oh yeah. No, and I'm a libertarian. Yeah. Like I really believe that, but there is an argument to be to kind of like pull that back a little bit, pull the covers back, and be like, what's really going on here? You know what I mean? Like, what's really going on? Like,
Pull what back?
like the whole idea of like, if you think about Christianity, and I'm going off on a limb here, but I believe this because I've studied it. Christianity and communism are so similar.
Yeah,
with like the principles.
which is ironic because
Isn't that
the
right?
right is capitalistic and Christian versus the liberals
Right?
are
So-
atheist
right.
and communist.
See, and that's why I like Jordan Peterson, because the truth is in the middle, right? Like, you know, you hear these guys talk, like we have like these, like let's say you're a socialist and I'm a free market capitalist, right? We have these huge differences in like the way we see the world, right?
Yeah.
Like, and how it should be. But really, it's like somewhere in the middle. I don't know if it's like
No, yeah, that's why I'm radical moderate.
Right, exactly. So there you go, right?
Yeah.
So you're finding this middle ground, and I think that's what's so appealing about Joe Rogan, Jordan Peterson.
But they
Sam
all
Harris.
just get slammed
Slammed.
as right-winging fucking racist ass fucking.
Right. Oh my God.
And Joe Rogan will go like he'll stand up for like if someone goes too far like Candace Owens, like if she's just like, oh, climate change isn't real, I'll just be like, whoa, what? And then I'll just lay her out.
Right.
And you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because he's open-minded.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And I think that Pat was.
I'm sorry if I got a little too off there.
No.
It's just,
and Pat was talking about a quote from the last time Jordan Peterson was on earlier this month. And he was saying we're witnessing the last death throes of a dying media platform, right? And I think and it's so true because now every time I look, I mean, how many times a day can I see Trump bad?
They're
on
desperately
on my fucking headline, dude.
They're like desperately trying to like hang on.
yeah.
And
they're
they're like
dying.
before they die, it's gonna get worse. So it's like worse than it's ever been before. But like there's this low key undercurrent of like people like us and like Joe Rogan that are just like,
nah,
they're just ignoring it. But our parents are still like stuck in that. And
Not
it
even
seems,
even my friends are still stuck in it.
it seems. So even your friends are still stuck in that, and it's,
Dude, my Facebook feed is flooded with just like, here's it like, fuck this celebrity for doing this. He should get fired. Like,
Yeah.
fuck James Gunn. Or like,
Yeah.
you know, like
because the
everyone's
media-
a sexual assaulter. And like everything is like, Trump's a monster. How many fucking times a week do you have to post that Trump's bad?
so it
like,
seems
we
like,
get
the
it,
media,
bro.
it seems like the media is they're polarizing us more and more and more because they're in the death throes. And someone like Joe Rogan and Jordan Peterson, he doesn't paint that picture.
And not only is the media like, not only does it show that the media is fucked, it really shows me to what degree people are enslaved by the media. Because like we already know everyone's enslaved by the media, blah, 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 blah. And it's like kind of a cliche, but you don't see to what degree they are until now. Because they are literally slaves. Like there's like a disorder now about Trump anxiety disorder. That's like a clinical
I read that
disorder. And like I knew people were enslaved in the sense that like, people are enslaved by the media. Okay, I guess they just read facts and they believe it's true. But it's like, no, they take over your entire perception of the fucking world.
Right. Yeah.
And that's what scares me, which is crazy. You know, like, did you ever, like Pat, like did you ever think that the media had this much power over people?
Ever since I was in high school, I did.
Wow.
Because that's why I just stopped. Like when Russell Brand was talking about not voting and like just ignoring the way shit is. And like, it's like, I've been doing that for a minute because there's two sides to every story. There's your side. There's three sides to every story. There's your side, there's my side, and then there's the truth.
Yeah.
And we'll never know the truth because we're only hearing two sides. Mm-hmm. And
well, the truth is somewhere in the middle of those two sides.
And I honestly, but I believe I believe this. You can believe nothing of what you hear and half of what you see. Because you're only seeing one side. You're hearing, it's hard. Like Joe Rogan talks about this too, is like, it's hard. It's almost impossible to like know what's really going on. It's really hard.
Yeah.
You can't.
Well, dude, it's a good example. You remember when I was on the vegan thing like years ago, right?
Uh-huh.
And, they come out, the documentaries come out.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, studies say this, right? And so I'm doing the keto diet now. I'm on the 7th day, right? And for me, that diet, it's like the two extremes, but it's the one in the middle, right?
Yeah.
It's like
Because there's some issues with the vegan diet.
Right.
There's some issues with the vegan diet.
There's issues with the vegan diet, and
protein
then there's issues with the pure carnivore diet, right? That's the other
Yeah.
extreme,
In.
right? Like that's
Wickham.
that's the other extreme, right? Like you have these like hardcore veganists, right? And nothing against them. Their intentions are, somewhat pure, like the Tom's guys, right? But then you have these hardcore carnivore diet guys that only eat animal fats and just animal protein, right? And then the mix of it, for me, is the keto, where you're eating meats and just vegetables, and you're cutting out all the other bullshit.
And that's for you.
Right.
Right. And
it works.
everyone has a different.
Right.
For me, like I try to eat as little carbs
Right.
as possible and carbohydrate. But I don't I'm not trying to be in ketosis. I'm just trying to exercise.
Right.
And eat pretty
But both
healthy.
those extremes have come to this conclusion that this carbohydrate intake, upping your insulin levels, right,
Yeah.
is not a good thing for people.
So what's the solution
For everyone.
If the diagnosis is that people lean to one side or the other, what's the prescription?
It's the kind of the middle.
But the middle is I feel like for me being in the middle, I almost am shit on by both sides.
No,
like the left will shit on me for being too conservative, and then the right will shit on me for being too left.
Well, don't, like what Pat was saying, don't label yourself as anything that they can put you in that.
Yeah,
box.
that's true.
Libertarian,
I think that,
but you don't have to label yourself because they'll label you.
Yeah, they will label
you. Know what I
you,
mean?
Right? Yeah,
It's
it's an uphill fight.
And it's like it makes me wonder like what is in us innately as humans that make us want to lean so one way or the other. Like if it is the party, if it is like the political tribalism, like we want to join the left tribe and everything they say is right. Like Joe Rogan was talking about Tomi Lahren, right? She was kicked out of her publication because she was pro-choice in a Republican and that was against what our people on our team believe, right?
Right.
So I wonder if we made like a team for like the moderates, if that would work to lure people in,
Yeah, I mean they tried with the independents,
Yeah,
back
but they're
in the
like
90s.
a joke.
I know. Well, yeah, look at Ross Perot.
I don't know why it's not that complicated.
It is complicated.
No,
Everybody's tied in this bitch.
But it's not though. We're all humans. We're all on planet Earth. We're all on the same team. There's only one team.
Right, but
team.
But then you're going
And
to
we
fraction
talk-
off into different religions
No,
and what their beliefs
that's
are.
the problem. All the labels.
So how do you fix that problem?
We get rid of all the labels. We get rid of all the teams. We get rid of all the sides, and we just talk.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's definitely a step in the right direction.
I think a part of it, like the reason if you think about the party system,
It's
kind of
retarded.
fucking stupid.
It's
like,
old.
And I think it is old because like it was created in a time where like there wasn't the internet and there wasn't news, right? So they were like, okay, we'll just make two parties and you could just join a party,
so
and like you're just kind of with that because like I have to give you a scroll that you ride on a horse for like a week for information to get to that town, right?
Right.
So they're like, okay, just join left and right, and
Make it
we'll
simple.
follow these vague principles, right?
Right.
But now it's outdated because everyone can think for
Yeah.
themselves,
Right.
You know what I mean? It's
And they
like
can listen
it's
to
outdated.
podcasts and
Yeah,
stuff and, like,
it's an outdated
yeah.
fucking
Yeah.
system,
Right.
For an age of no information.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And even the idea of the electoral college or having having represent, like we don't live in a democracy.
It's a republic.
Yeah, we live in a representative republic,
But
right?
you're just there. You go again, labeling it.
Well, yeah, but these are lines that have been drawn by some
these
of
are
the
the
greatest
these are the
philosophers
labels that are
or-
destroying the country that I want to get rid of,
Yeah.
right?
But you don't want it to be a popularity contest. I think that's what this has turned into, especially in America. It's like a popularity contest.
Yeah. Sometimes I just our people are just fucking dumb. And it's a dark thought, and it's super pretentious and egotistical and selfish and self-centered for me to ever say that.
Right.
But I think about it a lot.
Yeah. It's a tough one because it's like, they try to analyze like the Trump vote, right, versus the Hillary vote, and it's like Trump was a fuck you vote, right, or Hillary was, you know what I mean? Like, and it's like what you can label all humanity in that.
Yeah,
I'm gonna bring it right back to the same thing.
No labels.
No, we're not dumb. We're just trying to be understood when we should be trying to understand.
Yeah.
That's it. And ego
but
is the problem. Hold on, let me finish.
Okay.
Let me finish, because the reason it's all ego based. The reason that group kicked that girl out for not believing in the entire thing, it's ego. It's like, I can't disagree with you on one thing because my ego, it becomes like a competitive thing. Mm-hmm. Like Joe, when he has conversations with people,
it's not competitive.
He's removing his ego,
open-minded.
and he's having an open mind, and he has enough humility because he feels confident in himself.
And that's why he's so good.
Let me finish. Mm-hmm. Because he's in shape. And he's doing the right thing. He's winning. And he's going for it. And he just feels good about himself. So when you disagree with him, he's like, "Oh, okay. Why?" Not like trying to like win the fight, right? But like if you disagree with Trump, out of shape, drinks 12 Diet Cokes a day, he's not happy. He's balding. His hair looks weird. He's fucking yellow faced. He's like, all he has is his opinion. That's what defines him. So he's like fighting, and he can't take, it's the same thing that goes, it's like we're so stuck in this competitive, ego-driven culture.
It's true, yeah.
And it needs to start at the bottom, which is like what we're like the core of it all is like try to understand rather than be understood, and try to live your life with these certain basic principles, like the force, like the light, like love, humility, compassion, selflessness, courage, right? If you live in those principles, you're going to be able to communicate with your fellow man rather than living in the darkness, the dark side, like Darth Vader shit, which is like pride, ego, competitive, attachments, like all that stuff. So I think it starts at the core in the individual, like Jordan talks about.
Right.
So each person needs to find their own path to what that is, whether it's religion or Buddhism or yoga or AA, or you need to figure your shit out first. And Joe, he's figured his shit out, which is jujitsu and like.
Do you think like
exercise?
Why do you think more people haven't gotten to that point?
I think a lot of people are getting there.
I don't think so.
Well, I think we live
in an LA bubble.
Hold on a second.
But the options.
But just okay. You're thinking about results. Like I'm just thinking about like we're evolving. It's going to be slow. It's a slow process, but I already know that we're even more evolved than our parents. I already know it. And I know that we have a solution that they didn't have.
Definitely.
So we're on that track, and we're actually proactive. What we're doing right now is proactive.
So, and like my question was like, I still think like even today, like with the internet, people still voted for Trump. Right?
Well, how old is the internet?
But like with the pinnacle of the internet.
Yeah,
like,
but hold on. We're in the infantile stages of the internet still. We don't even have free Wi-Fi everywhere. That's ludicrous. In 5 years, people are going to look back and be like, you didn't have free Wi-Fi everywhere? That's crazy. How did you? Last night, my internet went out. I was fucking devastated. I didn't know what to do.
Well, there's dependency, though.
Well, I didn't know what to do. I couldn't do anything. I literally couldn't do anything. I couldn't watch.
Caney Meadows and you just detach, bro.
That's amazing too, though.
There is something there.
But what I'm saying though is that but the internet is, it's like it's making us. It's what evolution looks like for the human race. That's what it looks like.
Yeah,
you may not want it to look like that, but that's what it looks like. That's how we're uniting as a species.
No, I agree.
We're uniting as a species. It doesn't mean that we need to be on it all the time.
No, you don't want to have a false dependency.
Yeah,
on
and I think that once
that's a principle. You know?
No, it's not even. It's not even. It shouldn't even be seen as something we're dependent on. It's just seen as like a new way of communicating as a species.
But what happens when a sunspot comes down and wipes it all out?
then we'll put it back together again.
Well, I mean, you guys listen to the Rogan cast about that, right?
Yeah, I mean,
like,
we'll see.
I get what you're saying.
We
Pat.
will have already.
It is interesting because my question was.
I'm just being devil's advocate.
Well,
I
when
totally
that
agree.
happens,
Yeah.
we will already have benefited from it, and we will already be more evolved. Which, because the theory is that the pyramids were built by a more evolved culture than ours.
Right.
And it's just a cycle, right? Maybe it'll all get wiped out, we'll die, and it will all start over again. But that's kind of not the point. The point is to sort of like see like to remove all the labels and all the bullshit, and to try to like sort of de-evolve in a way when it comes to that stuff, and like see the bigger picture and the bigger goal, which is for us to unite as a humanity and society, and to sort of like and to focus on like how we can be better as individuals and like understand each other rather than to be understood, and to like bring compassion and love into everything we do. Then we sit down and have conversations about taxes without ego.
I agree. I mean, that's actually a really good point, because
it's kind of what Kanye's trying to say.
My thought process was like, oh, like we're all on the internet, but like some dude in fucking Nebraska doesn't give a shit, right? But like Pat said, it's in the infantile stages, right? So like, I mean, it's safe to assume that in a few hundred years, everyone will be as tuned in.
Dog, in 1 to 2 years, a large percentage.
Okay, yeah, 1 to 2 years.
Let me finish.
1 to 2 years, whatever. But I think what I'm saying is that I agree with you. Yeah, I think it's a good point, and I think that it really takes away my cynicism.
Yeah, what I was gonna say though was in 1 to 2 years, a large percentage of the population will be listening to the leaders of the dark web. Yeah. Joe Rogan, Jordan Peterson.
I don't think 1 to 2 years.
It's already happening.
It's happening
in LA.
No, this dude's getting billions.
Joe Rogan's the biggest interviewer the world has ever seen.
Period.
Nobody's ever had that.
Really?
Right now,
as we're talking,
now,
it's just building.
We're witnessing it happen.
Yeah.
But I feel
how come I feel like he's a niche? Like, how come when I talk to,
because that's what you feel.
Why am I the only person in my friend group who even knows who the fuck he is?
Because you got the wrong friends, dog. No, seriously, I don't know a single person who doesn't listen to him.
No, it's an age.
You're just evolved.
But anybody,
it's an age thing, dude. 21-year-olds aren't listening to Joe
You're
Rogan.
an evolved 21-year-old. Yeah. But I do think, but I also do think a lot of 21-year-olds. Yeah, I don't know, man.
Well, anybody that I've ever said,
so your guys' opinion of what like you guys both agreed that Joe Rogan's the biggest interviewer because your friends are like adults. And
like Jesse's speaking like
facts. And Peterson opens up with his bit. He has all these statistics about how many downloads he has.
Oh wow,
the reach that he has, and it's like
that's great. That's the best news I've gotten all fucking month.
But you already know every single video on YouTube has millions of views. Every single one, and he has hundreds. He has over 9. Yeah, he has 1,000 podcasts online.
It's crazy.
1,000.
It's crazy.
With all over 1 million views. That's 1 billion. That's billions of views just on YouTube. Yeah. That's not to mention all the downloads he's getting, and that's just him. That's not to mention Sam Harris or Jordan Peterson.
Yeah.
Or Ben.
Or Ruben Report.
Ruben Report.
Ben Shapiro.
Ben Shapiro. That's not to mention how much all those dudes combined.
Well, those are all the dark web.
Right, but none of those dudes are getting even half of what Joe Rogan.
Close.
And I think that Joe Rogan deserves to be getting the most because he's the least
controversial.
He's the least labeled. Right. He's not right or left
he isn't a label. Like he's actually not the label. Like Ben Shapiro is pretty fucking Republican.
No, he is.
I love him, but he's super. But so is Sam Harris.
Joe is alien.
Joe is literally the perfect person to be in that scenario.
He's alien.
If I had to choose anyone to be where he is right now, I would choose him.
Well, that's why having 3 guys that have semi different views, right? Like, you know, you're probably maybe a little more left leaning than I am. I don't know.
Yeah.
Right? But we'll find that out as we do this.
Probably not.
Well, but let's just say, or Pat definitely is. I know that because Pat and I have gotten into it about Zeitgeist years ago and all this shit, right?
Yeah.
And
Jesse's sort of a Republican.
sort of. Yeah.
He
sort of.
was a hardcore
I was.
gun. But you know what's crazy is that Joe,
did you watch Sacha Baron Cohen's new show?
No, I want to though. I love Sacha Baron Cohen.
But I've seen you evolve as a person because of these things.
Oh yeah,
And
philosophy.
And I was super left. Like
Right.
I was railing for Bernie Sanders, dude. Like,
Right.
I got arrested at a Trump protest when he got.
dude,
I went to
That's
jail
hard.
for a night.
But that's what I'm saying. So
like
we
that's
have,
how left I was,
right,
but now I'm
we
not.
have these different underpinnings, right? And we've kind of come to this thing where we can disagree. Nobody's all pissed off, and it's
We've
all good. We can
become-
talk this shit out, you know?
Yeah,
In
we've
a positive
all-
way. You know?
We've all gone closer to the center because of this stuff.
Right.
100%.
So the
100%,
goal is
yeah.
for everyone to be in this one place in the middle where we're all like, it's just going to be tricky to, like I was saying, de-evolve from like these labels. And like every time I hear someone label themselves, like on the Kennedy Meadows retreat, Troy was like, he was taking pride in like being this like Republican. And it was just like, God, like you just don't get it. Like it's not about a label.
Did you listen to the Candace Owens on Joe Rogan? It
No.
was a hard listen, dude, because she was like really Republican and he was just like calling her out left and right.
Right,
and, like,
right.
But
destroying
also,
her, and like she like just couldn't be open-minded, and like I knew in that like he
Ego.
just didn't fucking respect her.
Right.
As soon as she was like, I don't believe in climate change, he's like, all right, why? Here are some statistics, like here are articles.
Oh
And she
my
was just
God.
like, she was like, I just don't believe it. He was just like, this fucking bitch, dude.
ego.
Yeah, dude.
So she hasn't done the work.
no.
Like, so before you engage in the conversations, the first thing you have to do is like get right with yourself. And if she can't,
and her whole political career is based on resentment. Like she was very left leaning,
Yeah.
and she saw some fucked up shit go on the left, and then she, instead of going moderate, she went super right.
Yeah.
And you could see that on the podcast that she has no idea what the
crazy.
fuck she's talking about.
who is that? Which
Candace Owens. She's also the
How-
chick with Kanye.
Oh, how long ago did this happen?
Like a month ago,
Yeah.
I want to say.
Yeah.
So Jesse, you probably have to go.
Yeah.
I keep seeing you looking at your phone and shit. So,
Wifey.
but this was great.
Yeah, this was great.
I mean, we're kind of.
we're at the infantile.
I don't know if there's
spot.
anything we have to wrap up.
Just be open. Don't try to be understood.
It's
Yeah.
just understand.
Yeah. That's what you close on.
Yeah. That's what
yeah,
it closes on.
and
Go
it's-
through that real quick.
Yeah, it's just you know, it's just having these conversations on a public forum in long form it's just such an amazing thing to be able to do, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's the future.
Yeah.
It's gonna save humanity.
All right, peace.
Peace.
Late. We could have gone
For hours.
that's the beautiful thing about it, I think.
So that could potentially be two. And I think that moving forward, I don't know, when we might